My fiancé Ryan is fervently pursuing a poor female college student. The girl is cold and proud, unwilling to be a plaything for the powerful. She stopped my car in the heavy rain. Her expression defiant. Miss Lee, please take care of your fiancé. Although I am poor, I am not someone to be humiliated at will. To avoid humiliating her, Ryan turned around and called off our engagement, publicly marrying that girl with a lavish $200 million. 3 years later, I got engaged again. Ryan showed up uninvited at the engagement party, drinking to the point of gastric bleeding, and was urgently taken to the hospital for rescue. Amanda, who has become Mrs. Liu, barged into my office, gritting her teeth and questioning. Now everyone knows you are Ryan's unforgettable first love, and I have become the laughingstock of the circle. Naomi, you must be very pleased, right? Chapter 1. The surroundings fell silent. It is well known that previously Liu's two families had a huge conflict over a female student, which ultimately ended with the girl marrying into a wealthy family. I didn't expect this good show to have a sequel. I couldn't help but frown slightly. Has Amanda, after being a wealthy wife for 3 years, remained this reckless? I said indifferently, Mrs. Liu, it seems we are not familiar enough for you to call me by my first name. Next time, please refer to me as Miss Lee. If you need to reach me, please make an appointment through my secretary. Amanda turned pale for a moment, feeling somewhat embarrassed. I maintained a calm expression. Looking at her, she was adorned from head to toe in luxury brands, a stark contrast to the impoverished student she had been 3 years ago. Yet her expression remained as cold and stubborn as ever. 3 years ago, Ryan told me that he was drawn to the unique aura that Amanda possessed. Although she was poor, she had character, something that people like us lacked the most. People in this circle are all about self-interest. Even marriage can be exploited. It is common for couples in arranged marriages to play their own games. So when someone told me that Ryan was fervently pursuing a literature major, I didn't care. I also didn't care when Amanda came to find me, but I truly didn't expect that Ryan would actually call off our engagement for her. I calmly asked him, "Are you sure, Ryan? I won't care about what you do outside." Ryan turned pale upon hearing this. He was silent for a moment before saying, "She is different from those women outside. She doesn't want my money at all. Of course it's different. She deserves more than those women outside." I find it quite ridiculous. In such a murky pit of aristocracy, it's surprising that someone as innocent as Ryan could still emerge. I agreed to the annulment. The price is Liu family giving me that billion-dollar project in capital. After reaching a consensus, Ryan suddenly asked me as he was leaving, "Naomi, did you ever love me?" At that moment, I didn't answer, but in truth, I did have feelings for him. Chapter 2. My parents also had a marriage of convenience. My mother was very unfortunate. She fell in love with my father in a marriage filled with exchanges of interests. But my dad was a player. He flirted around outside and ultimately died on his mistress's bed. My mom couldn't accept it, fell seriously ill, and after recovering, devoted herself to Buddhism, no longer caring about worldly matters. My grandfather was extremely angry and disappointed by my dad's disgraceful death, and as a result, he also looked down on me. I gradually became an unimportant marginal figure in the family, until Ryan came to our house as a guest, gave me a chocolate, and we gradually started playing together, inseparable. Only then did my grandfather start to pay attention to me again. After I graduate from university, my grandfather will have to choose a new heir. I am not the only candidate, because besides my dad, my grandfather has 2 daughters and 1 illegitimate son, Hudson. My aunts only want to enjoy the benefits without any interest in inheriting the family business. And as the illegitimate son, Hudson has become my biggest rival, every day I bear immense pressure, striving to achieve something to prove my worth. I have done quite well. The company's performance has increased several times, but that hasn't made my grandfather see me in a different light. Until I got engaged to Ryan. The Liu family is a prestigious old family that can rival the Lee family. A marriage between our 2 families will surely lead to a win-win situation for both sides. Only then did Grandpa officially announce that I would take over the Lee family and become the new generation's heir. Ryan has saved me from danger twice. It's perfectly normal for me to have feelings for him. However, those trivial feelings have become unimportant after Amanda appeared. I will not be the failure my dad was, nor will I be the escapist my mom was. I will only be the forever standing at the top Naomi. No one can pull me down. Love is not allowed. Chapter 3. Amanda cried silently. She indeed had a kind of ethereal beauty. When she cried, it felt very broken. Yet when she spoke, it was absurdly extreme. Ms. Lee, could you please show some mercy and leave my marriage with Ryan? I really can't take it anymore. The crowd was instantly in an uproar. I can already imagine what tonight's headline will be. #Lee Group Female CEO. Interfering in ex-fiancé's marriage. Hashtag Naomi Ryan. A tangled connection. The secretary began to clear the room and warned everyone not to post recklessly online. I was somewhat annoyed, my voice growing cold. Mrs. Liu, today for the sake of the Liu family, I won't hold your nonsense against you. But if there's a next time, don't blame me for being rude. After saying that, I called the security and forcibly had Amanda removed. That night when I got home, just as I pushed the door open, I was yanked inside and pinned against the wall. The man's clear voice sounded in my ear, a hint of grievance in it. Naomi, I'm jealous, and you even deliberately drank until you vomited blood. Why didn't you just die from it? I broke free from his confinement. Dominic, how do you have the password to my house? Dominic's eyes were pitch black, looking at me with a glistening gaze. Appearing somewhat obedient, Grandpa Lee asked me to move over here. Only then did I realize that the room, which had originally seemed somewhat empty, was now filled with many of his belongings. It added a touch of homeliness. I couldn't help but frown. He kept his gaze on me, and seeing me frown, he immediately apologized in a pitiful manner. Don't be angry. If you don't want me here, I'll move out right away. Saying that, I was about to go pack my things. I grabbed his arm and said, forget it. We're getting married at the end of the year anyway. His eyes lit up instantly, and he looked at me excitedly. Are you tired? Let me show you around. I was curious to see what else he had prepared, so I followed him into the room without showing any emotion. As soon as I looked up, I saw a large poster of our couple photo hanging on the second floor. This scene looked comical no matter how I viewed it. I couldn't help but laugh. I did a little decoration. Do you like it? He looked at me eagerly, like a little dog waiting for its master to praise it. It's hard to imagine that the man in front of me is actually a legendary figure in the ruthless world of business. When Dominic was 18 years old, the head of the Fu family unexpectedly passed away, and he hurriedly took over the Fu family. In just 3 short years, a vast business empire has been built around the Fu group, with assets that are immeasurable. The Fu family has soared to new heights, surpassing all the noble families of capital, and he is only 21 years old now, 5 years younger than me. Previously, when I saw him in the workplace, I always felt he was mature for his age, with a calm and reserved personality, deep and unfathomable. Today, I truly witnessed the youthful spirit that someone his age should possess. I didn't want to discourage him, so I casually complimented. The photo you chose is quite nice. Dominic was taken aback, his fair ears instantly turning bright red, with a noticeable blush spreading from his neck to his face. He whispered, I also think this one looks the best. I was somewhat taken aback. I suddenly realized that the intimacy in this photo of us made my compliments seem rather ambiguous. I felt a bit awkward and forced myself to remain calm, saying, I'm tired, so I'm going to rest now. After speaking, he went straight upstairs. I am not surprised that grandfather will let Dominic move in, since he fell seriously ill and stepped back, and my dad unexpectedly passed away. The Lee family has been in decline. Even if I toil day in and day out, I can only barely halt the decline of the Great Summer and stabilize the overall situation. It's too difficult to rejuvenate the Lee family. He had previously placed his hopes on the Liu family, but the Liu family called off the engagement. The appearance of Dominic reignited his hope. Naomi, it's not that grandfather doesn't believe in you. It's just that a good wind helps you soar high. Smart people always leverage their strengths, and Fu family will be our best support. I certainly understand. Marriages between prominent families are one of the means to consolidate power and status. I just find it a bit hard to accept his urgency. That kind of urgency to treat me as a gift to achieve his goals. Urgency. Chapter 4. For my childhood friend Alicia's birthday. We held a birthday party at a private club. When I walked into the room, I immediately saw Ryan and Amanda sitting on the sofa. He looked up at me, his eyes swirling with emotions, seemingly in some pain. I subtly averted my gaze and sat at the other end of the sofa. Alicia hurried over and whispered to me, I didn't call him. He came on his own. It's fine that he came, but he brought that girl with him. It's so annoying. I don't want to talk about this topic. So I took out the birthday gift I had prepared long ago. Happy birthday. She opened the box with a look of surprise. Naomi, I love you to death. Inside the box was a limited edition women's watch. I also went through a lot of trouble and put in quite a bit of effort to get it. Alicia hugged me and acted cute. Woo-woo. Lee, please marry me. I'm willing to be your little third. Everyone teased. Wake up. You and Fu have no competition at all. If I were Naomi, I would take them all. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday it's Alicia. On Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday it's Dominic. Just as they were laughing and joking, Amanda abruptly stood up. The crowd's laughter was suddenly interrupted by her, and they looked at each other in confusion as she sternly said to Ryan, Ryan, come out for a moment. Ryan silently stood up and followed her out. The two of them started arguing in the hallway, their voices loud enough to be heard in the private room, being forced to eavesdrop. Everyone felt very awkward. Amanda's voice sounded devastated from the moment Naomi stepped into this room. Your gaze hasn't left her. What do you want? What exactly do you want? Ryan said coldly, can you stop being unreasonable for once? I'm being unreasonable? Amanda laughed bitterly a few times. Let me tell you what being unreasonable really is. The door to the private room was suddenly pushed open. Amanda charged into the private room like a cannonball, just like 3 years ago when she ran into the rain to stop my car. She recklessly rushed in front of me, pointing at Ryan and said, Naomi, I don't want this man anymore. I'm giving him to you. Ryan also rushed in, grabbing her wrist, trying to take her away. Can you stop going crazy? You have no shame. But my Lou family still has some dignity. Let's talk about this when we get home. Amanda shook him off violently, going hysterical. What are we going to talk about at home? Are we going to talk about how you finally realized the person you love is Naomi? Are we going to talk about how you've been secretly coveting her? Are we going to talk about how you get drunk every day calling her name? Heh, I have no shame? Lu Yen Ci. Don't forget who was desperately pursuing me back then. I've said it before. I am not your plaything or a canary that you can toy with and humiliate at will. Ryan, his forehead veins bulged. Unable to endure any longer, he shouted, yes, it was I who pursued you first. But Amanda, don't make me regret it. Amanda was stunned. The entire private room fell silent in an instant. Amanda started laughing maniacally, and as she laughed, tears began to fall. You see, you finally admitted it. Every word, every sentence, was heart-wrenching. Ryan slumped down on the sofa, looking dejected. I've seen enough of this farce. I stood up to leave. Alicia, I'm leaving first. Amanda blocked my path, tears in her eyes, looking at me with hatred. Naomi, you think you can run away after seducing someone else's husband? You shameless vixen. I coldly stared at her, picked up the bottle of red wine from the bar, and poured the entire bottle over her head. What do you think you are? How dare you stomp around in front of me? You think just because you climbed your way up by seducing men, everyone else is as shameless as you? Amanda, drenched in red wine, helplessly hugged her head and screamed, what right do you have to pour wine on me? I sneered. What do you have to show for it? That I am Naomi. That I am the heir of the prestigious Lee family with a history of 100 years. And you? What do you have? That you are utterly useless. That you can throw tantrums. That you act like a clown? Women who marry into prominent families are never just decorative vases. Ladies have their own battlegrounds. They will help their husbands and families maintain connections and navigate social circles on their own battlegrounds. But Amanda, this useless person, can't even be a proper vase. Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't break the high branch you've so hard to climb onto. And also, recognize your own identity and status. I am someone you cannot provoke. Amanda was hit where it hurt. Her face flushed red, and she exclaimed angrily, who is trying to climb the social ladder? Just because you have money, does that make you impressive? You wealthy people are truly disgusting. Her words scolded everyone present. With things escalating like this, everyone looked displeased. Ryan, how can you not even manage your wife? Now you're attacking her indiscriminately. Ryan was humiliated by her and could only apologize to everyone, ultimately forcing Amanda to leave. What a good gathering ended in discord. Chapter 5. Alicia noticed that I was not in a good mood and insisted on dragging me to the bar for a second round. She was familiar with the place, ordering several male models who lined up. each tall, strong, and handsome. Alicia cheerfully looked at me and said, "Naomi, this is your first time here, right? Don't worry. These boys are very obedient and won't misbehave." She looked at one of the male models who resembled a popular young star and waved him over. "Go help me pour the drinks." The boy came to my side and obediently knelt at my feet to pour me a drink. I furrowed my brow and said lightly, "You might as well stand up." Alicia took a sip of her drink and mysteriously said to me, "I heard a joke a few days ago. It's about Amanda. This woman is indeed quite peculiar. Just as Ryan once described, she has a strong will. Specifically, it manifests in the fact that, after finally marrying into a wealthy family and becoming a phoenix, she still insists on drawing a clear line with the Liu family. She doesn't want to be an elegant lady at home. She wants to go out and work to support herself. The Liu family helped her with connections and arranged for her to work at a university, but she flatly refused, insisting on passing the exam on her own merit. After studying at home for a year and putting in a lot of effort, I still couldn't pass the exam, and in the end, I could only go to a small training institution to become a Chinese teacher, earning 5,000 yuan a month. Not only that, but she also strictly guarded against her maternal family, not allowing them to take even a penny from the Liu family. Her parents are also the kind of honest and simple people who obediently listen to whatever their daughter says. However, some time ago, Amanda's brother accidentally got into trouble. When he stood up for his girlfriend, he accidentally injured someone severely, and they demanded 2 million. Otherwise, they would send him to jail. Her family is impoverished. How could they possibly come up with 2 million? But Liu's family can. So her parents found her at her company, kneeling in front of her, crying and pleading for her to save her brother. Guess what? Amanda pulled out a card, which contained all her savings of 30,000 yuan since she started working. Her parents were in despair, not understanding why their daughter was so heartless. "Are you really going to watch your brother go to prison? If he goes in, his life will be ruined. In fact, whether it's this matter or 2 million, it's nothing worth mentioning to the Liu family. Whenever Amanda opens her mouth, the Liu family can resolve it in no time. But she refuses. She has her own principles. I married Ryan only because I love him as a person, not for his power, nor for his money. I don't want the Liu family to look down on me. I don't want to be secretly called a vampire, a burden, or a troublemaker. I don't want to be the subject of gossip. You all only see my glamorous surface, but you can't see how difficult it is for me and the Liu family. Your son is your own flesh and blood. Am I not your own daughter? In fact, Liu's family treats her quite well, but she is sensitive and shy, unable to present herself properly. This matter has caused quite a stir. After learning about it, the Liu family also felt embarrassed and wanted to help her pay that amount, but Amanda blocked them. Clearly, their good intentions were taken for granted, and the Liu family was too lazy to care anymore. In the end, it concluded with her brother going to jail and her parents severing their mother-daughter relationship with her. Alicia finally summed up. Sigh. Do you think Amanda is out of her mind? She actually said that marrying Ryan was for love, not because of his money. In order to prove herself, she has lived a miserable life in a wealthy family. At first, I thought she had some skills since she could captivate Ryan so completely, but it turns out it was just this. I smiled and said, she hasn't changed at all. Amanda seems to be different on the surface, like a lotus that is untainted by the mud. But when you crack open the shell, the inside is empty. There is nothing at all. All that remains is a baffling sense of pride. Chapter 6. That night, I drank until deep into the night, and in the end, it was the Lin family's private driver who took me home. Groping to open the front door, high heels casually tossed aside, the coat fell to the floor. I slowly moved into the room. Shifting, the living room light suddenly went pop and turned on. The light was bright and somewhat blinding. I squinted and looked over. Dominic was standing in the living room, looking at me with a cold gaze. Have you been drinking? I ignored him, sat down on the sofa, felt a bit of a headache, and rubbed my temples with my eyes closed. A pair of warm, long hands came over and gently started to massage me. Dominic whispered, drink less. Your stomach is already not good, and you are prone to migraines. I am a bit annoyed and furrowed my brow, asking, was it grandfather who told you again? The hands of the massage stopped. I opened my eyes and quietly looked at Dominic. He looked a bit wronged. Naomi, do you dislike me? I tilted his chin and smiled casually. Little brother, why are you being so fanciful? It's just a marriage alliance. Where does dislike or like come into play? Dominic was about to cry. He bit his lip, his eyes red, and with a stubborn expression said, "But I like you." I find it somewhat ridiculous and laughable. As I looked him up and down, status may change with time and circumstances, but interests do not. Only interests are the strongest bonds that maintain relationships. Dominic, I don't need love. As long as our interests align, I can grow old with you. He was silent for a moment, then suddenly asked out of the blue, "Do you still like Ryan?" I was extremely disgusted and immediately shook my head. No, I only like myself. The true protagonist only loves herself. It's the minor characters who are troubled by love. Chapter 7. Dominic inexplicably became happy. He said that he and the person I like share the principle of mutual benefit, and we will definitely grow old together. I was at a loss for words. Actually, I don't understand Dominic's feelings for me at all. When I ask him, he remains silent. I also have no interest in knowing, so I just stopped asking. A few days later, I ran into Ryan again at a business dinner. What bad luck. I turned around and left, but he quickly chased after me. "Naomi." I stopped, forcing a smile as I greeted him. "Mr. Lou." His expression was somewhat bitter. "Do you really want to become estranged like this? We grew up together as childhood sweethearts, and what happened last time was my fault." I interrupted him. "Stop, Lou, if there's nothing else. I'm leaving now." Having said that, I turned and walked away. Ryan grabbed my hand tightly, his eyes red, and insisted, "What if everything she said is true? I finally realized that the person I like the most is you. Can you please give me another chance to choose you? It's truly disgusting, nauseating." I expressionlessly shook him off. "What do I care about what you like? I, Naomi, never recycle trash." At that time, you insisted on breaking off our engagement and stubbornly married Amanda. Although our positions were different, I actually admired your clear foolishness. Now it seems you don't even qualify as clearly foolish. You're just a shameless scumbag. Lu Yanxi's face was pale, and he looked lost as he watched me leave. I didn't expect this scene to be captured by someone with ulterior motives and quickly make it to the trending headlines. Although the secretary reacted quickly, the trending topic was taken down just as fast. The enthusiasm among netizens for discussion is still exceptionally high. There are rumors that Lu and Yanxi's marriage has changed, and the fairy tale of Cinderella marrying into a wealthy family has ultimately turned into a bubble. There are also rumors that my mistress has intervened, and she is engaged to Dominic. Living so well while still thinking about her married ex is too shameless. Amanda naturally would not let such a good opportunity slip by. I posted a few ambiguous statements on Weibo overnight, seemingly confirming my involvement. Alicia couldn't hold back and directly confronted her on Weibo. "Being stuck with you two is truly unfortunate. A scheming mistress rises to power, and a cheating scumbag, the so-called White Lotus man, are a perfect match. Let the madman and madwoman lock me in." Then someone exposed that Ryan bled from his stomach after drinking at my engagement party, and Amanda caused a scene at my company. Public opinion gradually began to split into two factions. One faction believes in karma, that heaven spares no one, and that Amanda brought this upon herself. A mismatch in social status leads to this outcome. The other faction feels sorry for Amanda, who was played by a rich kid. There was another uproar online. Chapter 8. When grandfather called me back to the old house to demand an explanation, I happened to be with Dominic in a start. He must go back with me. When we walked into grandfather's study, Hudson was already there. How could he possibly miss this opportunity to mock me? "Oh, our big shot finally shows up, making the old man wait for you half a day. What a grand entrance." I said lightly, "I'm so busy, and it's all because of you. This useless person in the company." Grandfather was wise all his life, yet he gave birth to such a fool like you. Hudson furiously raised his hand as if to slap me. "You uncultured scoundrel." Dominic stood in front of me, pushing his hand aside. "Mr. Lee, you should think twice before throwing a punch next time. Naomi is not only the heir of the Lee family, but also my fiancé. Neither identity is something you can meddle with. Understand?" Hudson was ridiculed, his face alternating between green and white, looking very unpleasant. In the end, he could only sarcastically say, "Mr. Fu has a great capacity for tolerance. Naomi's scandal has even made the trending news, truly living up to being the big brother's offspring. But when it comes to men, it's called being romantic. When it comes to women, it's called being promiscuous. I slapped him hard across the face. Are you awake now? If not, I don't mind giving you another slap. Hudson was so angry that his face twisted, but he didn't dare to retaliate easily. He could only seethe with rage. Did I say something wrong? You shameless, promiscuous woman. I remained expressionless and gave him 2 more slaps. Come on, keep cursing. Let's see if your mouth is tougher or my slap is tougher. He was so furious that smoke seemed to be coming out of his ears, panting heavily as he glanced at the old man sitting nearby. The old man sat steadily, slowly sipping tea, watching us confront each other without a word. I smiled and asked, "Not going to scold me? The marketing account is spreading rumors. Instead of joining me in opposing them, you are eager to throw dirt on me. What? Are you afraid I won't find out that you are secretly behind this? Ever since I got engaged to Dominic, he has completely exited the heir dispute. You don't want me to have it easy and target me everywhere." Hudson panicked, his face pale as he denied, "I don't understand a word you're saying." "Don't slander me," I said slowly. "If you don't understand, that's fine. But today I must tell you a truth. Harmony in the family leads to prosperity in all things. You and I are Lee family. We share in each other's glory and misfortune. So don't make things worse." The old man finally spoke. "Naomi is right. Hudson, you should apologize to her." Hudson clenched his fists, gritting his teeth to suppress his anger, forcing the words out one by one. "I'm sorry." I smiled generously. "It's okay. Ignorance is no crime. Uncle should read more, and then he won't make such mistakes in the future." These words hit Hudson right in the lungs. Before he was recognized back to the Lee family at the age of 17, he was just a street punk. I didn't even finish the 9-year compulsory education. Even though later Lee's family sent him for further studies, the foundation was already broken. No matter how much effort was put in, it would only yield limited results. So he has always hated it when others called him ignorant and advised him to read more. Hudson could no longer hold back and slammed the door as he left. Dominic held my hand tightly, looking up at grandfather with a cold and noble expression. "Lee grandfather, don't take those rumors outside seriously. Naomi and I have a very good relationship." The old man stood up and said, "Dominic, stay for dinner." Chapter 9. Several years ago, I made a significant investment in the intelligent manufacturing sector and achieved great success. The Lee Group's financial report is stunning. Revenue skyrocketed by 20%, and net profits surged by 72%. It has ushered in a glorious moment. A month later, grandfather convened the board meeting. It was officially announced at the meeting that I would take over the Lee Group, becoming the new head of the Lee family. Except for Hudson, who is indignant. The other shareholders are pleased with it. Prior to this, I had already managed the Lee Group on behalf of my grandfather for over 3 years, and my abilities and achievements are well recognized. Lee family has been a prestigious family for 100 years, and I am the first female CEO in history. On the day I took office, Lee's stock opened and hit the ceiling. At grandfather's suggestion, the company held a celebration banquet, inviting the heads of various families and some journalists. Ryan and Amanda followed behind Lou family's head couple and came along as well. Uncle Lou intends to mend relations with my family, staying by grandfather's side, laughing and chatting, as if all the previous grievances and misunderstandings between the two families no longer exist. Aunt Lou then took my hand. "Naomi, you truly are someone I have watched grow up. The grown-up girl is truly a promising child, 100 times better than my 2 useless ones." The Lou family has only one son, Ryan. This statement is a blatant indirect criticism. It is obvious who it is directed at. Aunt Lou was still not appeased. "It is my son Ryan who is blind, letting go of a good treasure and instead choosing to settle for something worthless." Amanda indeed changed her expression, standing behind her without saying a word, her teeth nearly grinding to dust. I smiled subtly and did not respond, until Dominic came over to take me away. "It's time for the interview segment." Amanda somehow got a press badge and sharply mocked me. "Miss Lee, the netizens say you are not a true leading lady. The only reason you've made it this far is because you were born into a good family." The Lou family looked grim, their expressions filled with disappointment. I replied nonchalantly, "Good luck is also a part of strength. I never deny that I was born into a good family. But Lee family has been around for 100 years, and I am the only female head. Do you really think it's just a matter of luck to achieve this? Amanda was not satisfied with being countered and began to speak indiscriminately. There are also netizens saying that 3 years ago, you used the condition of breaking off the engagement to take away over $1 billion from the Liu family. 3 years later, you married into the Fu family to consolidate your power. The achievements you gained today are entirely due to stepping on the backs of your 2 ex-fiancés. What do you think? I laughed. What do I think? I find you both ridiculous and foolish. Is this something the netizens said? Or is it you speaking, Mrs. Liu? However, I can answer this question for you. Since men can step on women to rise, why can't women step on men to rise? This shocking statement instantly sparked discussions throughout the room. It's really strange. Throughout history, countless men have achieved success relying on their wives, fathers-in-law, parents, or even friends. They can boldly rise by stepping on everything around them, often receiving praise in return. These men have become the minority who hold the power of discourse. They set a strict and harsh standard for women to discipline them. Only those who are perfect can be worthy of the title of independent women. They cannot rely on others, especially not on men. Otherwise, they will be judged by public opinion. And why should I listen to men's discipline? Why can't I be the one to set the rules of the game? Dominic took the microphone. My wife is exceptionally talented and has always relied on herself. I dare not take credit for her achievements. He changed his tone, but I can also tell everyone that as long as she needs it, as long as I have it, I am willing to give everything. I was momentarily stunned and turned to look at him. He was also looking at me, then smiled gently. Chapter 10. This interview video spread rapidly across the internet. All platforms' trending searches exploded. Hashtag Naomi admits to stepping on men to rise to power. Hashtag true or false female lead. Hashtag beware of the independent woman trap. Hashtag the old society is over. It's time for us women to set the rules of the game. Netizens are discussing with unprecedented enthusiasm. Some supporting me, and others criticizing me. But more than that, there are those who are crazy about shipping ship. The clips of me and Dominic looking at each other have been edited into various CP videos, going viral on the letter station. On the other hand, Amanda, in order not to trouble Liu's family, ultimately let her biological brother go to jail. And this matter was also dug up by others. Netizens, after finishing the gossip, all felt it was astonishing. They say she played a good hand poorly, marrying into a wealthy family yet achieving nothing, neither leveraging the family's connections to improve herself nor making any money, and even severing ties with her own family, ending up with nothing. What kind of extraordinary love-struck brain is this? Compared to her, Wang Baochuan would have to stand aside. My biological mother, whom I haven't seen in years, suddenly said she wants to meet me and Dominic. She is practicing in the temple on the mountain. When she saw Dominic, she scrutinized him for a long time before smiling and saying, "You are Naomi's fiancé?" Dominic respectfully replied, "Yes, Aunt." She gently nodded. "I saw the video of you protecting Naomi, with you looking after her. I feel at ease." After saying that, she looked at me and suddenly burst into tears. "Naomi, I am sorry for what I did to you." My heart was as calm as still water. In those initial years, I hated her. My dad died disgracefully, and I struggled to get by in the Lee family, facing exclusion, while she remained indifferent and unconcerned. Sometimes I even think, if I were to die like this, would she shed a tear for me? But in the past 2 years, I have stopped hating, because I no longer have any expectations of her. A late confession of love is worth less than grass. The same goes for late maternal love. I smiled appropriately. "Madam, there is no need for that. Life is like a journey against the current. I am also a traveler, and our fate was severed years ago." She understood, and her expression darkened. On the way down the mountain, I looked out the window with a dull expression. Saying nothing, Dominic drove me to the mountain top. Looking at the myriad lights below, he was serious and gentle, saying, "It's okay, sister. If you're tired, come rest in my arms. You have the right to rest too." I threw myself into his arms and cried for a long time. The grievances of struggling alone have been completely vented. The road up the mountain is rugged and bumpy, but fortunately, I have already made it. Chapter 11. Hearing the names Ryan and Amanda again was the news of their divorce. Their century wedding was like Cinderella living a dream. And now, The dream has awakened. Ryan seems to have finally matured a bit after experiencing a failed marriage, learning to take over the Liu family business, but lacking the talent for business. He made several fatal mistakes, and the Liu family is no longer what it used to be. In order to secure Li's business, he humbly asked me to meet several times, but I rejected him each time. Amanda was expelled from the training school. The divorce caused her significant psychological trauma. She couldn't focus in class and often muttered, "Our love was so pure, free from the stench of money and power. How could it have come to this? Why?" She still doesn't understand where the problem lies. Her self-righteousness and pride are her fatal flaws. Yet it was this very trait that attracted Ryan to her. One can only say, pride brings success and pride brings failure. Later, Amanda completely disappeared from the city. Chapter 12. My Dominic's wedding night. At a critical moment, I stopped and pressed him on what exactly he was plotting against me. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with a sense of grievance. His pupils were dark and bright, with long and thick eyelashes, mist hanging around them. The corners of his eyes flushed red, looking both delicious and pitiful. "You are so cruel. Do you want me dead?" I snorted. "Are you going to say it or not?" He started to cry and said, "The first time he saw me was at my father's funeral. At that time, I didn't shed a single tear, and people criticized me. I couldn't be bothered to listen to their gossip, so I hid in the yard." He ran over to comfort me. "It's okay, sister. They don't understand that when a person is in extreme sadness, they can't cry at all." I remembered. Indeed, there was such a thing. But at that time, I only felt that he was somewhat inexplicable, because I wasn't unable to cry. I truly didn't feel sad. Later, when the news of my engagement to Ryan reached his ears, he wanted to stop it. But at that time, he had just turned 17 and was still a minor. A year later, Ryan called off our engagement for Amanda. He was eager to confess his feelings to me, but his father unexpectedly passed away, and he had to take over the family business in a hurry. At that time, Fu's family was in turmoil, and he was afraid of dragging me down. 3 years later, the Fu family had grown under his management, and he finally came to find me to propose a marriage alliance. His feelings for me were those of a young boy's infatuation with a girl. The story has come to an end, both reasonable and unexpected. Dominic looked at me with teary eyes. "Naomi, I love you." What I responded to him was a gentle and lingering kiss. The temperature in the room began to rise steadily again. "Then I will trust once. I want both a career and a man.